2024 has been one of the best years ever in the history of the WWE. We've gotten amazing matches, great storylines, amazing shows, debuts, returns. It's just been so darn good. But as good as 2024 is, everything has to come to an end because we are in the final stretch of 2024. And in today's video, I'm going to give you 12 predictions that I genuinely think are going to happen before the end of 2024. I'm going to give you the predictions. I'm going to try to give you my reasoning and why it would be so awesome. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I am confident you're going to fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. All right, let's jump into it. My first prediction is that the WWE will officially announce a mid-card women's championship tournament where the winner will be crowned at WWE Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. There's a couple of reasons why I'm going with this. The last time the WWE introduced a new championship belt, they had the winner go through an entire tournament, and that winner was crowned at a Saudi Arabian show. That was, of course, the World Heavyweight Championship tournament to crown the inaugural World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins. I'm also picking Saudi Arabia as the destination here because the WWE continues to try and break new ground with women's wrestling in Saudi Arabia, and I think that this would be another great major step. I personally believe that this isn't the greatest crowd to do this in front of, considering a lot of major women's moments sound flat in front of a Saudi Arabian crowd, unfortunately. But you gotta keep trying. If you want to change the mold, if you want to change the narrative, you can't give up. And I think that this would be a great way to try and continue to push women's wrestling for the Saudi Arabian crowd. That, plus, of course, the history that we already have of WWE crowning major achievements at Saudi shows like King and Queen of the Ring and that World Heavyweight Championship tournament, I think gives us good evidence that this could happen at Crown Jewel in early November. On top of that, the WWE has already been testing a prototype of this down in NXT with the Women's North American Championship belt, with the inaugural champion Kalani Jordan already defending this mid-card championship in NXT, and it's working really well down there. And I think that enough time has passed that the WWE has enough information to go off of that this championship belt will do really well with the amazing roster of women that they have. 2, they know that fans desperately want it. And 3, it's a great way to give women more TV time outside of just pairing them up and random tag teams and putting them in the women's tag team championship division. What's great about this potential tournament is that there's so many awesome potential inaugural winners. You can talk about the likes of the Chelsea Greens of the world. You can talk Naomi, Lyra Valkyria, but my personal choice would be Michin, considering she's been so damn good in 2024. Now, I'm not predicting that it's Michin. That's not my prediction. My prediction is the Women's Intercontinental Championship belt being announced and being awarded at Crown Jewel 2024. For my second prediction, I'll keep this one quick and simple because I think we're all predicting this. I am predicting that The Rock, the final boss, is going to come back to the WWE and insert himself in the major Bloodline storyline before the end of the year. I know that there's already rumors that he could potentially appear in WWE programming within the next 2 to 3 months, but this is The Rock. The man's a busy dude. 2 to 3 months could turn into 4 or 5, and if it turns into 5, now we're talking about 2025. And in early 2025, we have things like Raw Day 1, New Year's Revolution, we have the road to the Royal Rumble, and that could be a really great place for The Rock to come back. I mean, that is when he came back in 2024 to start off all of this narrative of him and Roman Reigns, which led to the final boss, etc. So we actually have evidence that The Rock could likely come back at the start of 2025 if they wanted to replicate the magic that they did at the start of 2024. But I think it's gonna happen earlier. I think it could happen as early as Survivor Series because we can all tell that this is leading to some sort of Bloodline Civil War games, and I think that there is no better place for The Rock to reinsert himself into this Bloodline narrative than by having him either close the show, choosing allegiances, and showing his true colors. What those colors are, I'm not sure. It could be him siding with Roman Reigns only to turn on him later. It could be him immediately showing himself as the puppeteer of everything that's been going on with Temu Bloodline. That's not what I'm predicting. I'm just predicting that The Rock will return and reinsert himself himself back into the WWE programming and storytelling. Prediction number 2, and if this doesn't happen this week, then what the heck are we doing here? I am saying that Austin Theory finally turns babyface. Austin Theory has been going through this emotional turmoil with his best friend, but also just kind of a shitty friend in Grayson Waller, who continues to put Austin Theory in these precarious situations with his selfish decisions. And week after week after week, we keep seeing glimpses of Austin Theory kind of realizing that Grayson Waller isn't particularly his best friend or even a great person at all. And we're seeing glimpses of Austin Theory showing a nicer side of himself. And I know that a lot of people that watch this channel are already kind of tired of how long it's taking, but as I've mentioned before, WWE loves to save these major moments that they've been building up to for major episodes of Friday Night SmackDown or Monday Night Raw, and we have a major one coming up here as they debut on the USA Network. That's actually where I'm predicting that it's going to happen. If it doesn't happen there, then this is actually just genuinely taking too long. But if it doesn't happen there, I still firmly believe that it's going to happen before the end of the year. And I do believe that a babyface Austin Theory could be something special. It could be somebody that the WWE can now properly mold to maybe become a main event guy again, something that they tried so desperately with 2 years ago with his Money in the Bank victory and all his insertion into main event scenes that just weren't really landing with the fans and was clearly far too rushed. But this is a far more seasoned Austin Theory, and Austin Theory that I do think has the charisma to be a great babyface. I think the time is now to pull the trigger on Austin Theory. It's gonna happen before the end of the year.
Timing. Oh my God.
Dude, the crowd is losing it. Oh!
They're just, and then he power bombs him right on top of Drew.
Oh!
Kick from Cole. Oh, he's what he did against Ospreay.
It's rad, right?
Yeah.
Look at this angle, too.
That was a sneak peek of this week's Wrestling is Cool Match Club watch-alongs, available exclusively on patreon.com/SantiZap. This week we're getting the Rhodes Brothers versus The Shield for the tag titles. A last man standing match between Ilya Dragunov and Dijak. The Triple Threat Classic between Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Gunther at WrestleMania 39. A forgotten gem between Drew McIntyre and Adam Cole down in NXT. And the legendary last man standing match between Umaga and John Cena. You're gonna get these and more, like the Raw review, SmackDown reviews, the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days earlier than everyone else, and our Royal Rumble watch-alongs that we're doing. We're going through every Rumble in history at the moment. Again, all of this is available on patreon.com/SantiZap. I'm confident that you're going to fall in love with it if you even just give it 1 month. Again, the link will be in the description or the link in the pinned comment. Now, back to the video. Prediction number 4. Let's go down to NXT for a second. I do think that the famous tag team, the Motor City Machine Guns, will debut in NXT, but I'm going to take this prediction a little bit further, and I believe that they are going to win the NXT Tag Team Championships. Nathan Frazier and Axiom have been truly amazing for the NXT Tag Team division, a tag team division that for a really long time was really struggling to find just teams in general that were a genuine threat or were worthy enough to be on NXT TV, frankly. But by using Axiom and Nathan Frazier as one of the pillars of the tag team division, they've done a really great job of building around them, to the point where now the NXT Tag Team division feels special again, and we're just a little bit removed from that tag team division feeling even more special and even more justified as a great division within NXT and the WWE in general, with the addition of one of the greatest tag teams in professional wrestling history, the Motor City Machine Guns. Motor City Machine Guns aren't signed to TNA, but they have such a legacy with TNA that it also just makes sense for the timing for them to come to the WWE. And I do think that the WWE is a little bit nervous and precarious about giving championships to TNA talent, but they could give championships to somebody that has that TNA legacy in the Motor City Machine Guns, and I could absolutely see them winning tag team gold before the end of the year. The NXT tag titles are like the one set of titles that just bounces a lot throughout the year. We had, the Wolf Dogs, then Axiom and Nathan Frazier, then Chase U, then Axiom and Nathan Frazier again. I think that we could see these titles changing hands pretty soon, and I think it's going to be to the Motor City Machine Guns. Prediction number 5, CM Punk will get a world title match at Survivor Series against Gunther. Both CM Punk and Drew McIntyre have been trying to call their shot against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, but just as they're about to truly insert themselves into a feud with Gunther, they attack one another. It's what happened after Drew McIntyre won at SummerSlam, and it's what happened after CM Punk won at Bash in Berlin. But I do believe that CM Punk is going to win the feud at Bad Blood in a match that I presume is going to be Hell in a Cell. I don't know as of the making of this video, and I think that he's going to go on to the place where he re-debuted, where he returned to the WWE after 10 years of being away, Survivor Series, and that's going to be the main event, potentially closing match of Survivor Series. I guess it all really depends on how much involvement the Bloodline and Roman Reigns is going to have at Survivor Series. That would likely close. But it's been so long since we've had CM Punk in the WWE World title picture that I think it's time, and just the full circle nature and what Survivor Series means to CM Punk and his return, seeing him climb back to the top and getting a world title opportunity after a year of being back in the WWE is just so perfect. I could see a world where maybe it's a triple threat. Maybe it's Gunther versus Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, considering both of them want Gunther and the World Heavyweight Championship. So I don't think that that's out of the question, but what I'm predicting is that CM Punk will be going for the world title at Survivor Series. Prediction number 6 is that Jade Cargill will turn heel, and not only will she turn heel, I think that she turns heel in a manner where she takes out Bianca Belair for a couple of months. I could see this maybe being something that happens at Survivor Series. It could be a good way to give Bianca Belair some time to go have a vacation, because she's been a workhorse for the WWE for so long. But I do foresee a world where Jade Cargill finally snaps for whatever reason, and she takes out Bianca Belair in a blaze of glory, just a complete and utter destruction, perhaps after losing the tag titles. And the reason why I'd like to see Bianca Belair take some time off is because I would love for Jade Cargill to develop as a heel, destroying people that aren't named Bianca Belair after putting Bianca Belair on the shelf, thus giving Bianca Belair the opportunity to return either at the Royal Rumble or in the road to WrestleMania in general to confront Jade Cargill to set up their match at WrestleMania. It's a strategy that's worked for the WWE since literally forever, and I think that they could execute it to perfection with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair here. But the first bullet, the first major moment in this feud will start at some point in 2024. Prediction number 7, I think that Ricky Starks will jump over from AEW and debut in NXT. Do I think that Ricky Starks is absolutely capable of being on the main roster? Yes. It's just that I'm seeing the current vision of NXT, and I just feel like Ricky Starks just fits there better at the start. Look at how well they've treated Ethan Page. Look at how well they've treated people like Joe Hendry and everyone coming over from TNA like Jordan Grace, the Rascals. I think that Ricky Starks fits so nicely with the current strategy that NXT has, which is a combination of veterans that have already been around the block in other wrestling companies and the independents, alongside and partnering them up alongside their younger talent and people that they've brought up in the NXT system. Ricky Starks would be fantastic to go up against Ethan Page, to go up against Ricky Starks, or whoever the hell he wants. Ricky Starks is amazing. Fun fact, when I started watching AEW, Ricky Starks is like the first AEW guy that I was like, that guy I love. He's fantastic. And I would love to see him make the jump, considering we haven't seen him in AEW television for a really long time, which was kind of what happened with Ethan Page. So I'm just sort of reading the writing in the room. Prediction number 8 is that the John Cena retirement tour will start in 2024. He's already announced that his last match will take place at the end of 2025, that his final WrestleMania will be WrestleMania 41. I know this all depends on his shooting and filming schedule, which I obviously am not privy to, so this really is just all me creating a headcanon here, but I'm hoping that after he's done filming Peacemaker, that we can just sort of start the John Cena retirement tour, because I'd like to see matches at some point in 2024, whether it's in Saudi Arabia, the place where we last saw him getting absolutely mauled and destroyed by Solo Sikoa, or perhaps Survivor Series. If I'm a betting man, I would probably say Saudi Arabia, because those tend to come with some pretty hefty paydays. Who will his opponent beat? I frankly don't know, and that's not what I'm predicting here. I'm just predicting that we get the first step of John Cena's retirement tour at some point in 2024. Because if he was only going to wrestle in 2025, I feel like we would have been told that. No, he kind of left it up in the air and ambiguous as to when the tour was actually going to begin. So I'm gonna, hopefully with fingers crossed, predict that it starts this year. My 9th prediction, and this is probably the most obvious one, with Julia just debuting in NXT, I'm predicting that she wins the NXT Women's title, likely on the debut episode of NXT on the CW network. Do we have anyone disagreeing here, or is this maybe the most obvious thing that I have on this list? Can we move on? Okay, yeah, Julia's gonna win. This is a dangerous one that I'm making, because I could potentially see this being a WrestleMania program, which could mean it might happen in early 2025, but it could start in 2024, because we know how long the storyline with this group takes. My next prediction is that the Wyatt Six will go after Dominic Mysterio and the Judgment Day. It might just be Dominic Mysterio on his own, which might be funnier if they only target Dominic Mysterio, if I'm being frank with you. But we've already seen the feud with Chad Gable and American Made. We understand the motivations of Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six, why they went after Chad Gable, and now going after American Made and the Pitbull Ivy Nile, with everything that they've done, turning their back on family, turning their back on friends. We understand the formula of Uncle Howdy, and who has turned their backs more on friends and family than Dominic Mysterio since debuting in the WWE, turning his back and kicking Edge in the nuts, turning his back on his mom, his dad, his sister, his mommy. This guy has betrayed everything and everyone imaginable under the sun. I'll reiterate, I think that storyline is a WrestleMania worthy story piece that they could run with. So I would love for it to culminate at WrestleMania, but I think it could start as early as maybe December 2024. I'm saying December because I do believe that Dominic is still going to be embroiled in the storyline with the Terror Twins, the Judgment Day, probably up until Survivor Series. So this could start right after Survivor Series. For prediction number 11, I'm predicting that the New Day become World Tag Team Champions at some point in 2024. Let's face it, JD McDonough and Finn Balor have been arguably just the worst tag team champions that I've ever seen. They're both fantastic. When they're in the ring as a team, they're great, but they lose and they never defend the championships. It's been 2 months as of the making of this video that they've defended the championships outside of WWE house shows. And I do think that the WWE and Triple H, and I'm saying this really hopeful, that they're gonna see that the New Day was putting in so much effort in trying to get over this storyline with Karrion Kross and bringing in Odyssey Jones, and having that storyline just implode and collapse on itself like that's gotta hurt the morale of guys like Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. So I'm hoping that they recognize their hard work trying to get that storyline over, and that they reward them with a great feud with the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and JD McDonough, which culminates in championship gold. Frankly, I would prefer the New Day to hold the championships over the Judgment Day, because I do believe that the New Day will actually be fighting champions. I don't think that they're going to continue to run with the story of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods potentially turning on one another. I do think that that's completely imploded on itself. We'll see. And my last prediction is that Tiffany Stratton will cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase at Survivor Series. Survivor Series is back. Like, it's back feeling like a big four. The Royal Rumble doesn't need this moment. The Royal Rumble is the Royal Rumble. We just saw a cash-in at WrestleMania. It's been a while since we've seen a cash-in at a Survivor Series. So if they want to continue to elevate Survivor Series, to continue to feel and build it up like a big four that it was all of those years ago, I think that this would be a nice little piece de resistance to a show. It could be Nia Jax that she cashes in on. I think that would be poetic and it would make sense, kind of considering their current storyline and narrative. But it could be maybe she cashes in on a Charlotte that just won the championship, thus setting up Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania, a match that I've been predicting for a while now. But yeah, that's what I'm calling. Tiffany Stratton cashing in Money in the Bank at Survivor Series is my last prediction. All right, folks, those are my 12 predictions. Now it's your job to leave me one or several of your late 2024 predictions down in the comments below. But that's it. I'm done. Get out of here.